Hey guys, welcome to Lingua Marina. Today we're gonna have conversational practice and I'm gonna give you advanced phrases that you can use during your conversation to introduce another thought, to maybe politely interrupt someone, to express what you think, and to just make your conversational English more lively. This video is for intermediate to advanced English language learners who want to speak English confidently and use phrases that you've never used before. So make sure you watch this video up to the very end. If you don't have my workbook yet that you can use to improve your English even further, make sure to check it out in the link down below. Now let's talk about the phrases that would help you enhance your English language conversation. The first phrase is put forward. Now let's imagine you're in a meeting and your boss is wrapping everything up and says, do you guys have any questions or any other topics that you wanted to discuss? And let's imagine you do, because you have this new project in mind. So one of the phrases that you could say, oh yes, let's talk about this project. But let's talk about this project is very basic. Now you can use another phrase. The phrase is to put something forward. Let's look at the example. I'd like to put forward several proposals that I have regarding our project X, Y, and Z. So to put forward means to introduce or suggest ideas for others to discuss. I would like to put forward several proposals. Let's move on to the next phrase. The next phrase is bring up. Now let's get back to the meeting that we had. So imagine there is a colleague, her name is Jenny, and there is no way she wants to talk about this X, Y, and Z project. I don't know why, she has her reasons. She could say, oh no, let's not talk about this project. She could do that. But she could also say, please, let's not bring up project X, Y, and Z today because I have several updates I wanted to discuss in a separate meeting, something like that. So yes, she could say, let's not talk about this. But she could also use this more advanced phrase, to bring up. To bring up means starting to talk about a particular topic, a project, money, jobs, whatever.
Don't bring up politics.
Now the next phrase, run over. And we're getting back to you in this meeting. And you insist talking about the X, Y, and Z project because you have something exciting about it. Or you're like, guys, no, you don't say guys in the formal meeting. You're like, actually, I have some important updates about the project. Let me run over several actions we could take to double the profits. To run over means to explain something really quickly. The next phrase is elaborate. Now your boss is now super interested in what you have to say. And he's like, oh wow, yes please, let's elaborate on the ways that we could double our revenue. To elaborate means to go into more detail about something. It's almost like saying, tell me more about this project.
Could you elaborate?
Let's quickly stop here and talk about other ways you could use the word elaborate. You can say he refused to elaborate on the reasons why he declined this job offer. So he refused to explain. That's another way to use this word. Now let me quickly stop here for an ad break. This video is brought to you by one of my most favorite educational platforms called Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for everyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. With Skillshare, you invest in yourself and your personal growth. If you are thinking of starting to put your English language to use, to start using it to get a new job, I highly recommend a course on Skillshare called Going Freelance, Building and Branding Your Own Success, that was taken by over 70,000 people. In this course, each video shares stories, examples, and tips to spark your thinking about ways to seek out the work you want. So basically, this course will help you get a job in English. You will be able to use their tips to create a resume, to attract a company that will want to work with you. You will learn the basics of marketing yourself on social media. You will learn tips about authentic networking, like how do you build those connections? How do you meet people who later introduce you to companies that you start working with? And you also learn what financial success is and how you can create multiple levels of income. Yes, using your English. By the way, this course has amazing reviews. Overall, I also encourage you to go ahead and explore Skillshare because it has thousands of courses that help you learn a new skill like video editing, interior design, painting. There are even courses on how to become more productive and how to manage your time. First 1,000 people who use my link in the description box below will be able to get a free trial of Skillshare for a month. Over the past 4 years, this is how long we've been working with Skillshare. I've taken dozens of their courses, some of them by people I didn't know, some of them by my favorite creators here on YouTube. Those courses helped me both in my business and personal life, and that's why I highly recommend this platform. Check out the link in the description box. Okay, let's move on with our class. The next phrase is spell out. Now, your colleague Jenny, who was initially against you talking about the XYZ project, now she's interested too. So she says, I still can't understand you. Can you please explain? Well, instead of saying, can you please explain, she could say, can you spell out? Spell out means to explain something in a clear way with a lot of details.
Let me spell it out to you.
The example would be, could you spell out the exact plan for us? Now you present your plan. The boss likes it. And he says, actually, this might work. Could you please contact my assistant Rachel and share all the details about the project so she could help you implement everything? Now, he said contact, but there is another word that is widely used in professional environment. The word is reach out. Could you please reach out to my assistant Rachel?
You could reach out to someone?
By saying reach out, you mean either writing an email, which is most common. Sometimes you text people. But in the US, if we're talking about like business community, you only text people who you became really close with. Like, for example, when I raised a venture round for my creator career, we started texting each other with my investors because at some stage it became a less informal relationship. But you don't really text people you don't know. Normally you start conversation by shooting each other emails, and then you move to text messages. Now the boss wants to introduce you to another colleague. And when he introduces you, he says, Marina is working on ways to double the revenue of our XYZ project. What other phrases can you use instead of working verb, which is kind of basic, but we're okay with it, but we want to make it more exciting. Let's think about it. Now, first of all, you can say create. Marina is creating an action plan with several ways to improve the revenue or increase the revenue.
I plan to create and market a line of baked goods.
You can also say Marina is developing an action plan.
Develop a plan.
Now, if this action plan is something that I'm formally doing, like I'm sitting down with an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Doc and I'm actually writing it step by step, we can use a verb draw up. So I can say, I've drawn up a list of certain steps that we can implement in our marketing campaign to improve the revenue of the XYZ project.
I'll draw up new plans.
So imagine the boss likes my project or your project and he's like, okay, now you're responsible for making it happen. Yes, you can say Marina is responsible for this project, but we can also use the word coordinate. Marina is going to coordinate all the activities around this project. This is one way we can say it. He can also say, Marina, now you're going to be leading a small team that would help you implement everything you've drawn up in your plan to lead.
You were pushing me to lead the team.
Another great synonym is to supervise. Marina, you're now supervising this project. Now imagine there are some problems with this project. Of course, problem is a word that is widely used, but there are also other words that are more advanced. A challenge. A challenge is something that needs mental or physical effort to be done successfully, and it's possible to face the challenge,
Gotta face the challenge.
meet the challenge, accept the challenge,
I accept that challenge.
take on a challenge. Let's look at a sentence. The company is ready to meet the challenges in the next few years. That means the company probably has all the financial reserves and all the strategies in place in case something like a crisis happens, because crisis is always a challenge to a company. Now, another word you need to know is setback. Setback is something that delays or prevents progress or makes things worse than they were. Building a company is a process, and sometimes you'll have a setback, which means sometimes you'll have problems when you have to stop and reassess your strategy.
A small setback.
An obstacle. An obstacle is something that makes it difficult to continue doing something. It is possible to encounter, overcome, or face an obstacle. His competitor put several obstacles in the way of his business. And now when you have obstacles or problems, challenges, you sort them out,
I'm sure we can sort this out.
you figure them out,
Let's figure this out.
you work them out.
This isn't gonna work out.
Several words that we're gonna learn right now that help you talk about ways you're dealing with your problems. To sort out means to successfully deal with a problem or a situation. To work out means to completely understand something that is difficult to understand. We struggled to work out a plan of running a company during COVID. So it was hard to us to understand how we're gonna function as a travel company when everything was shut down. To figure out means to understand how to solve a problem. We often hear people say, it's okay, I'll figure it out, which means I will spend some time thinking about it and come up with a plan. That was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video up to the very end. If you're not yet subscribed to Lingua Marina, please hit the red button down below and subscribe. If you haven't checked out Skillshare yet, I highly encourage you to go ahead and check them out because I love their courses. And of course, see you very soon on this channel. See you in my next videos. Bye-bye.